All right, this is the schematic for the raspberry almond gâteau. This is how we're going to cut the cake. We're going to cut it into 3 layers. There's going to be a layer of cake, a very thin layer of raspberry, a layer of pastry cream, a layer of cake, pastry cream, and cake. The top view of the cake here is going to be covered with Rich's non-dairy whipped topping. It'll be scored into 8 portions. Each portion will have some type of filigree on each slice, either a rosette or some other design. And in that design will be 2 slices of sliced almond. There'll be a shell border around the outside of the cake. And this is the diagram of the outside side view of the cake. We're going to use a cake comb, and we're going to put a very thin layer of crushed toasted almonds around the bottom. Okay, the first thing we want to do is set the cake on top of the turntable. You see I've got some wet paper toweling here to secure the cake to the turntable. Make sure the cake is centered on the turntable. Spin it, make sure it's centered. Okay. First thing we want to do is slice the cake into 3 even layers. And the best way I know to do that is to either with your hand or a cake circle, eyeball the cake into thirds and very lightly run the knife around the outside of the cake. When you come full circle, the knife is going to start to go inside the cake. You're not going to cut all the way across. What you're going to do is you're going to move this knife up and down this way and turn the cake at the same time. So when you get about halfway through, the cake sort of cuts itself. This comes off. And now just divide the cake in half, same thing. Nice light outline. And once you come full circle, this comes up and down. Turn the knife into the cake. And the cake cuts itself. Now you've got 3 layers. Decorating the cake means keeping the area clean, so whenever crumbs start to develop, put them off the board and out of the way. The first layer of decorating the cake is going to be a very thin layer of raspberry preserve. We spun this in a mixing bowl to make it a little softer. Now, when you put this on, one direction, because going back and forth is going to help tear up the cake, and we don't want that. And it's a thin layer. Again, one direction. Next step is going to be to put on that thin layer of pastry cream. And it's not a tremendous amount of pastry cream because the pastry cream is not stiff like an icing. Again, like we did with the chocolate cream pies. And that's all you really need. Okay, we've added the second layer of cake on top of the pastry cream, and now we're going to apply the second layer of pastry cream. Same technique, concentric circle, and then spread it out. All right, now it's time to start to decorate the cake. We've added the top layer of cake. And to do that, we're going to put a fairly large amount of the riches on top. And now, as far as spreading that on, again, we're going to choke up on the palette knife. We're going to make a concentric circle. And the pattern that we're going to follow is going to be the top, the sides, and the edge. And it's okay if this goes over the edge of the cake. We just want a smooth, crumb-free surface. Okay? To apply icing or coating to the sides with your piping bag, that's the first step. And now what we've got to do is get the sides to be as smooth as the top. A couple ways you can do that. Very stiff, straight-sided bowl scraper. Here's the thing. Straight side here, 90-degree corner, straight side here. Put this on the bottom of the turntable and at a short angle, not like this, but at a short angle, hold that nice and straight. Spin fairly quickly, and you should get a nice straight side. The idea here is not to show any cake, and if you see any cake, there's a little bit here, we'll put some more icing on it and just repeat the process. You have to hold that bowl scraper nice and straight. And the idea here is to try to get the icing on the side of the cake to come up over the top edge of the cake. There you go. Now, I'm not so worried about this line because we are going to use a cake cone to create ridges all the way around the cake. So it was the top, the sides, and now the edge. So in order to take care of the edge, choke up on this, and you're going to come in from the edge, but you're not going to come in more than, say, an inch. Okay? And we're not doing this. It's got to come in at a flat angle. So, just like that. Wipe the blade. Okay. A little bit more coating to the top. Remember, it's going to be top, sides, and edge. So again, bit of a concentric circle, and then spread this out. The sides, we're going to use a cake cone. Okay, it's got 3 sides. We're going to use the side with the biggest teeth. And to do that, again, less pressure. And all you're going to do is spin. And in order to stop that, you just kind of pull it right away. And see how it looks. We're a little bit short there, so I'm just going to come back. And there we go. Cake cone side. Coming in, but just a very little bit. Why am I not worried about this?
going to be covered.
Because the shell border is going to cover that right up. It may be that I have to go back and touch this up again. So again, choke up. Very little pressure this time. All I want to do is smooth that out. Good enough, because the shell border is going to cover that right up. When you do this, lightly, so that we don't see cake through the top. That's all you need to do. Okay? Okay, to apply the filigree, the rosettes, whichever you want to do, you want to make sure that you're centering it in the center of the slice this way and centered in the slice this way, so that there's enough room for that shell border not to bump into the rosette. Concentric circle of rosettes. You can do the rosettes first, you can do the shell border first, whichever you're more comfortable with. Now, as far as the shell borders go, I'm going to hold the bag horizontally if you need to practice a little bit. Practice, and then keep the shell border on top of the cake.